Hello chaps and chapettes. This right here, this bad boy, can fit so many plants in it. But what is it called? It's called a propagator. Now, this propagator, its main job is to control the climate within it. That means temperature and humidity, as you can see by the condensation on the inside of the box. So right here, I have a temperature and humidity gauge. This isn't ran by batteries. It's ran by saturation and a little metal coil that heats up, expands and extracts, and that's where the needle comes from. So this tells me exactly what temperature the box is at, just if I want to click glance, and I don't need to check the individual instruments that provide me the temperature and humidity. Okay, so let's go over heat first. So this bad boy is powered by a little heating coil that runs under the underside of the box. So there, just imagine this box, and then just imagine a laying wire, like an underfloor heating sort of thing. And that's all connected to a thermostat and a programmable little box that tells you exactly what degree of Celsius you want to choose, and it will try and match that to its best capability, or as it's marketed, to 0.5 of a degree. Okay, so now for humidity. So, humidity. We have a humidifier, very scientific term, which is essentially a great big box that has a little subwoofer underneath it, which essentially unstabilizes the water particles and turns it into a vapor, which then shoots out the top of it like a chimney. That then atmospheric humidity means that I don't need to water the plants nearly as much as I did before, because now the soil just gets saturated with the humidity that's floating in the air inside the box. Also, it's worth noting that humidifier is programmed as well via my phone on an app. So if I'm out and I see that the humidity is too low, then I can flick a switch, turn it on, full blast for 10 minutes, and then they're all saturated again. And lastly, this isn't something I can control as such. I can a little bit, but I didn't think it was worth noting as part of the climate control itself. But plants, as you know, will be nothing without light. That's why I have 2 fluorescent grow lights. They're doing really well, but I'm looking to get some LEDs because LEDs run cool, and they are rated up to 50,000 hours, and these are only rated up to 10,000 hours. And that's still a lot of hours, but I still, like I say, that can affect the heating as well, because it will warm up the inside of the box like the greenhouse effect, essentially. Okay, so why is it important to have a propagator or something that resembles a propagator? Well, for cuttings, especially cuttings, they do what's called perspire. And what perspiring means is as soon as you cut the cutting off the top of the plant, the bottom leaves a wound that all the water is going to go straight out of as a vapor. And a dried out cutting is worthless. You can't revive it. It's goner. So as soon as you've taken a cutting, here's a little tip for you. Put it straight in a bag that you've misted lightly. So then that in turn is a mini propagator until you can get it into one of these bad boys. Okay, so why have I basically overkilled this? Well, it's something I'd like to get into. It's a little business on the side. These are rosemary cuttings. So a 9cm pot, or something that we call a primer, will sell for about £5. And of course, when I get the LEDs, I'll actually make profit, because these sap so much electricity, it's unreal. But yeah, like I say, you can't really control it. I'm looking to get hook up the LED to perhaps a little scroll wheel or something. But I do have a light meter to measure the light and make sure it's not singeing the plants, which I bought, I checked, and it's fine. So yeah, that's about all the control I have over this, which is important because plants, cuttings and everything really, they do require a cycle, so they can't be on 24 hours. Because what they do at night, what plants do at night, is they use that energy that they built up, the glucose, in order to respire. What respire means, they do this in the day, but they're more likely to do it at night as well. They get some oxygen and they get some glucose, put them together, and then they can use their energy, their glucose, into actual energy that they use for growth and keeping the plant alive, essentially. Oh, also, it's worth mentioning that for the heat and humidity, if it gets too much, I do have vents that I can slide open on the top. So, yeah, it's manually controlled there too. So what can you do if you don't have a million, cajillion, zillion pounds? I mean, I don't, but I am in debt. Well, I'll tell you, inquisitive viewer, you can get a seed tray put the cuttings in it, and then if you have a polyethylene bag or a plastic bag with a little zip at the end to keep the humidity in, is you can water your cuttings to the right moisture level, zip it up completely, keep it airtight, and put it on a indirect sunlight windowsill. The same as I'm doing here with this light, although that is direct but dissipates with the lid a bit. And basically what that'll do is it'll keep the humidity in like this is doing, and it'll keep circulating around. It might use up some of the water for growth of the roots, so I'll have to keep topping it up. But what you've got essentially is a mini greenhouse propagator. Right, so thank you so much for watching, guys, chaps and chapettes. Hope you liked my video on this bad boy. Haven't really got much to add to this now, apart from those new lights that are on the way. So I'll show you when they're here. I'll probably do a side-by-side comparison video. But yeah, thanks guys for watching. Cheers.